Hello and welcome back. So we continue here and let's figure out how to display brands. So in the same way that we used the search class to display others, we're going to use the same to display the brands. So let me just duplicate one of these functions here, like so. Okay. And of course, this is going to be get brands. Let me select every instance of category here and change that to brands. And then let me change that to brand as well. And what else do I need? Okay. So inside brands, let's see what we have in the table itself. So let's go to brands and see if the query actually suits what we have here. So we do have disabled, we do have views. So that actually works because there's disabled, there's views there. The only difference is here we must add, we don't need this, we must add, where is this? Let's go back to where we created brands here, and then I will get one of these. So there's the table data. The only thing we have to repeat is these two things. So I will copy these two, copy, and then come back here, and I need to paste inside here. But of course we have double quotes here. One way to do is to escape them like this. This can work as well. Just another technique to use when you have double quotes in the inside, but you don't want to get rid of the double quotes from the outside. So you can do it like this. This works just fine as escaping the quotes there. And then here, this is the important part. We need a brand and then an index here, right? So what we will do is, first of all, let me echo out the brand name. Let me copy this, copy, and I will put the brand name here. And of course, I will say brand. Okay, so that's the label, and the ID here will be, I think let's get the brand ID and use that instead. So ID, wait a minute. Let's bring back this here for, I think we'll leave brand name there. Or maybe let's try ID, because identification I think is important in that way for this here. So let's try ID, and let me try ID here. Now I don't like numeric IDs, so if you don't want numeric IDs here, because these are just HTML IDs, you can add some text here as well and put an underscore to match that, but let's see how this works as it is. And then this is the important part here. So as we are looping through here, we can create a let's see here. First of all, the important thing is that the name of this, oh wait a minute, so that's brand. The name should have an ID here, so copy this. Let's go back here for a second. Okay, so we have a value here. When this is selected, we have a name, and we are supposed to have a value for this thing as well. So let me duplicate the ID instead here and put that with value like so. So the value is the ID, and then we'll check whether it's checked or not. Type checkbox, that's the value, and then the name now, let's use, you see, the name doesn't need to correspond with the ID at all. This is just there to separate these input boxes here. So we can put a very different number here. It doesn't need to correspond to the actual ID at all. So what I would do is I'll just put a random number here. Just not really a random number, but we'll set it to 0. And then after every movement here, we'll add 1 to it in the loop. We'll say num plus plus, like so. And then we can just put num here. So the reason we are putting a number here on the name is because otherwise, if we have the same name for all these, if we check, let's say 5 of them, they're going to merge into one. It's only going to get the last one because they have exactly the same name. So the number at the very end here is just to make sure that these have a separate identity for when we send the data, so that we can get all the ones that are ticked. So here I'm going to say num, like so. Yes. So let's see if that actually works. So save that, and I'll go back here to products and use the same thing here. I just change it to get brands. I will remove everything here, paste like so, and brand there like that. Okay, so back to our page. Let me refresh. Okay, so we have an error here. Cannot use object of type array in, wait, unquote error. Cannot use object of type array as of class as array. Let's go back here. Oh, so we have been using objects here instead of arrays. I don't know why I keep making this mistake, but it is what it is. So change all these to that. We use the arrow notation. Paste like that. Great. Let's try that out. Okay, so now we have these brands here, but let's put spaces between them. I do have a space here. Label ends there, is it? Actually, this should probably move here and leave the dot there. Let's see how that changes things. Okay, at least that gives us some space. But if you want to space them out even more, just put the and non-breakable space like so. Put another space. Doesn't seem to have helped much, but it's there. So now I can select multiple brands like so. And then the advantage is, if I now hit search, you see these brands here, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I now hit search, you will see that the brands here come up, these 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So all of them are added to the list because they have different names, but their values are very different here. They're not the same as these IDs here. These are their real IDs. So these are just placeholders to make sure we get all of them. So if I remove number 3, where is this? Let me zoom out. Let's say I select number 2 of them only, search, and you see only 2 appear, the others do not appear even in their empty form. So this is how this system is going to work. But the only problem here we have is if I type some content here, for example, and select a category and select some of these, whatever I do here and hit search, you see that once it refreshes, the selected items are gone, the text is gone, everything is gone. However, we do have this information here, so we can figure out a way to get it back once we send it. So what we're going to do is create a bunch of Actually, we just create one function that will do exactly that. I'll see you in the next video.